All right, we're working our way through some measurement topics here, and before we build into kind of surface area and more complex ideas, we're going to go back to just area, just a review of what area is and how it works. We're going to start with rectangles, and we've got this formula, but we need to really get our heads around what that means. So here's an example where we've got maybe a length of fence that's 3 feet high and 6 feet wide. If we were to kind of section that out, kind of cube that out, we would see that we could kind of count up each square foot of fencing we need, and we get a total of 18 square feet of fencing. But the easy way is to think about the length and the width of this fence, and just multiply them together, right? So our area is equal to our length times our width is equal to 6 times 3 and is equal to 18 square feet of fencing in this case, right? So that's our formula, right? And that's where it comes from. That's how we get that formula. Next, we're looking at a field here, and sorry, of course, you guys back up. Like, make sure you understand the multiplication there. Make sure you understand the formula. Have written in what it means. That this is length and this is width. That's important. You want to remember all that stuff. Dimensions of the field next. We're looking for the area of a field now. So we've got a 48 meter length and we've got a 36 meter width on our field. So we know that our area is always the length times the width. So in this case we're looking for 48 meters times 36 meters, and we're getting a total area of 1,728 meters squared, right? And now you can picture yourself kind of dividing that up into 48 pieces and dividing it up into 36 pieces. That's how we'd get 1728. So if you're maybe getting paid to mow this field, well, or plow the field, there we go. You might be getting paid by the square meter. So you'd be very interested in what the total area is, how much plowing you're going to have to do, as you're going to have to kind of crisscross the entire area of the field to plow the whole field. So looking at plowing, we have this rate. We have our pay, right? We get 80.5 cents for every meter squared we plow. So that's going to be equal to some total amount of money divided by 1,728 meters squared. Now I'm just thinking about this, and I'm thinking we're going to start working with some pretty quick numbers here. So maybe instead of cents, I want to actually just work in dollars. So I know that that's going to, if I divide by 100 cents in a dollar, I'm going to get $0.805. So I'm going to use $805 in my math here, in my steps here. And now, just like this is a proportion again. So we cross multiply, then divide. So our steps to solve that proportion is 1,728 meters squared times 0.805, 80.5 cents, divided by, this is just 1 meter squared. So we're just dividing by 1 meter squared there at the end. And we get $1,391.04. All right. Again, look that through. Make sure you see kind of the connection there. We're cross multiplying. That's this step, and then we're dividing by the 1. That's this step right here. Cross multiply and then divide. Circles. Everything changes when we start talking about circles. And you know what? I couldn't even tell you where this formula comes from, how to derive it. There's no easy way to kind of go from this shape to that formula, at least not in my mind, but it's just one of those things we've got to remember. And you'll hit those things in math. Now we're working with the radius. And we're working with the radius squared, which means that's the radius times itself. It's not 2r. It's not 2 times r. Radius, the r squared piece here is the radius times itself. Right? The 2's at the end, the 2's that superscript up high, 2 times squared, so the radius times itself. Okay, now we're just going to calculate a couple areas here, you guys. So this circle has a radius of 8 centimeters. So its area is going to be equal to pi times the radius squared, which is pi times the radius again. And I would encourage you to write it out like that if you're still unfamiliar with what that squared means. Show yourself what it means so you do your steps correctly. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, and we're going to multiply by our 8, and we're going to multiply by our 8 again. So now we get an area of 200.96 centimeters, and it's squared, right? We were working in square meters here. We were working in square feet here for area, because we did this, right? We took our 3 times 6 initially, and we pieced it out in squares. Each one of these would be a square foot. So our units show us that, and it's important to think about that. In this case, our units are centimeters squared because this is centimeters and this is centimeters. So centimeters times centimeters equals centimeters squared. That's where those square units come from. B now I'm going to kind of bring below. This isn't a radius, this is a diameter of 42 centimeters. And we said yesterday, if the whole thing's a diameter, then this piece would be the radius, right? And the radius is the diameter divided by 2. It's half the diameter, so it's 42 centimeters divided by 2, and the radius is 21 centimeters for this guy right here, 21 cm. So we'll use that in our formula. Pi times the radius again, which is that squared piece. 3.14 times 21 centimeters times 21 centimeters again. Gives us a total area of this next circle of 1,384.74 centimeters squared. So check the math. Make sure you know where these numbers are coming from. Make sure you know how we got from the 42 to the 21, why we're using the 21, and then try it. If you think you understand it, try it, you guys. Good luck.